All right, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Be Inspired Podcast, where we're inspiring you to live an abundant life that you deserve. All right. So this week we got another awesome guest on the call. Last week we talked a little bit about fear, judgment, and self doubt. This week we're gonna have Akeem Maynard on the line. He's gonna tell us a little bit about himself and share his story and his journey to how he became successful. So Akeem, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Me, first of all, thanks for having me here. This is pretty cool. We know each other for like many a years. But what I do, I don't even know where to start. Professional baseball coach, professional mental health yes, advocate, a big brother, a teacher, a mentor, a son, everything, bro. But majority what people know me for in this community, what I call a baseball whisperer.
Nice. So I know because you've been in the army and everything, but how did you finally find your purpose and know that this was it? You know?
Believe it or not, um, right, because I was born in Miami, grew up in St. Croix, and I did the back and forth, being in St. Croix, then living in Miami, then finishing high school. I think it all started for me was like I always wanted more, but I didn't know how. So for me, when I left the Virgin Islands, I joined the military. When I got out the military, I actually fell back in love with the game of baseball living in Spain in my last duty tour. And we actually played professional teams out there. I played on the military all-star team, made it for 2 years, did all of that, and I tried to become a professional baseball player. Clearly, that didn't work out. But I just know I always wanted more. Even when I stopped playing baseball, I know I wanted more, but I just never knew how.
Yeah.
But I always followed the right intention, and then it actually found me, to be honest with you.
Cool. So you just going through life and your purpose just found you, just walked into it, kinda.
Yeah, so like even when I stopped playing baseball, trying to be a professional, I was working a regular 9 to 5, and I got sick, really, really sick. And I never went back to the job. And this is why I said I know it chose me because when I was living in Miami, a friend of mine from the other island, St. Thomas, Jermaine Cotton, he was actually professional. His brother got to the big leagues. And he was like, bro, why you don't come out? You're always home. Might as well come and just chill. And it was at a baseball cage. And me being there all the time, the guy that owns it would always see me every day and be like, hey, you want a job? I'm like, for what? It's like the coach. You're here every day. Might as well make money from it. And I was like, all right, cool. So I actually coached with my boy Jermaine. And then the following year, after that year, he actually left. And then everything was put on me. That's why I said it chose me because I wasn't looking for it.
So what would you say are some of the values that got you where you are today?
That's a so loaded question because to be great, as you know, you was a baseball player as well back home. You can't be one thing in baseball. So for me, my biggest value, I would say, is adaptability.
Thanks. Yeah, I remember those them Indians versus Diamonds game used to be.
Yeah, it will be intense. My friend was just talking about that, what, 2 days ago?
Boy, big deal. Shoot. Yeah, those were good times.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Um, so your passion found you, and then how were you able to like now you're kind of coaching people that's on the way to the next level on Major League. How did that small start with just coaching at the batting cage help you to get to the next level?
That's the thing. That's what I tell you. It chose me.
Shows you.
So come to find out, the place that I work, that my boy was working at, it's kind of like a YMCA in a sense, even though it's not a YMCA, but it's next to a school like that's paired with a YMCA. So the place that I worked at, high level athletes was working out there, but I never knew.
Mm.
So like I'll be in the hitting cage, and then I picking up the balls, and then I'll see Miguel Cabrera walk past me, and he'll like, "What's up, bro?" And watch me being dumb. Like, you, bro? What's up, man? Oh shit, that's Miguel Cabrera. Then you just seen all these big time athletes like Alvin Kamara, Odell Beckham Jr., Michael Beasley. But it was all in that one era, and I never knew. So just me being open to help people gave me an opening of opportunities. And it's funny you say that because I had a couple VI kids that was staying with me and I would help them get an opportunity to go to college and whatnot, and I was training them. And then one of my friends I grew up with, Jabari Black, he was in the big leagues at that time. And he came on to talk to those guys. And he was staying in West Palm Beach, which is an hour away from where I was working at. He was like, "Yeah, just here for business. I can come and check you, talk to them boys." And he was talking to them. And he was like, after he finished talking to them, he was about to leave. He was like, "Yeah, about to go up to Palm Beach to walk out." Like that, you could walk over here. You could hit up my cages for free. I said, "You see it? I got this unlocked. I got the keys." Like, well, I need a strength and conditioning to get my workout like that. We get people right in there. And I show him the gym. He was like, "Yeah, but I need people to walk on my body to get massages." I said, "Everything in there, bro." And I show you everything. And then after that, everything just flow. Everything just flow because why notice in the baseball world, you have to you have to be able to move in a certain way. Because if you look at it from their perspective, they're on TV. You could look up this signing bonus. You could look up how much they make a year. So every encounter with them, for the most part, people always want something. So if they don't know you, they're very standoffish because they expect you to have your hand out for something. Hey, can I get an autograph? Hey, can I get a picture? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? So for me, it was more of like, hey, what's up? And I keep it moving. But they always knew my face, but they were still expecting me because that's what they're normally used to. But now when I pull up with Jabari now in the gym and Jabari walk past all them dudes I've been seeing and he go up to Miguel Cabrera and they having a conversation just like how me and you, they like, yo, who the fuck is this dude? So now the perception changed.
Right.
As one, I was never being a groupie. Two, I never asked you for nothing. And three, there's a dude that's in the big leagues where I trying to get. Now it's a little more friendly. Now they hear me and Jabari talking like me and you talking, and they're like, "Yo, where y'all from? Yo, that's cool. What that mean?" But before it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Even though I walking past these dudes in a year, but it's like, yeah, you got to be able to give value. You know, I really wish to get on a big platform to like express my gratitude to Barry, even though I tell him, but you have to let people know you are as strong as the people you are around.
Yeah. That's a fact. And then
I
there's
sorry, that was a long-winded
no
answer to your
worries.
question.
No worries, man. You sharing it, you sharing the raw emotions about what happened and how you got there. And it's true, man. You have to be able to give before you just try to hand yourself out. Like I was listening to this one guy and he's just like, yeah, before my book launch, what I used to do was I used to send, there's a New York steakhouse that give like real prime ribs. He used to send each person a prime rib before he even asks them for anything to help him
Yeah.
like promote his book. So he promoted giving them all kinds of steak before his book to be able to get their promotion. So that was, yeah, you always gotta give the value before you try to. take from people. Um, but that's dope, man. I really appreciate you sharing that. So,
Oh my.
what's the some advice that you would give to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
That's a good question. I would say believe in yourself. I mean, like, it's very generic, but it's the truth because I think the world and the conditioning of the environment we grew up, the people that you're around, where it limits your mind, because if you look at a child, we all grew up as a child having imagination. Because, oh, I'm gonna put my tooth underneath the pillow, the tooth fairy. The the man's underneath my bed. We believe in it. But then reality kicks in and we stop believing. So that same mindset becomes an adult. The things that you vision or you've seen or you want to do, it shuts off your imagination and the belief in yourself. Because all it is imagination is just belief. It had somebody say, man, I'm tired of taking a horse. Let me make something that ride. What do you think is horsepower in a car? Because it replaced the horse.
Yeah.
But it was the imagination. But they had to believe. But guess what? Everybody riding a horse tell the person who make the car, man, I can't walk. But I would say belief, man. Belief for sure, 1000% belief.
Yeah, definitely. Always believe in yourself. That was the last episode I talked about believing in yourself and how to get there, letting go of judgment, self doubt, and fear. But what are some of the books that you have read to help you get to this level, or you think that inspired your journey?
Man, so much, bro. And believe it or not, I was never really into books. But my boy Jermaine really get me into books. Think and Grow Rich. Malcolm Gladwell, that's his name?
Mm. For which one? Think and Grow Rich?
It's not Think and The Outlier. The Outlier.
Okay, I know.
That one. I think it's Malcolm Gladwell, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. Um, How to Influence and Win Friends.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Um, I want to say the baddest book I ever read, dog, is from a guy named Chris Voss.
Hmm.
He was a FBI negotiator. I forget the book name. I have it right in my room, but that's hands on the best book to ever read. Basically, how it's a negotiation book. It's man, that's one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. But
Oh,
I've read a ton of books. I'm just kind of going blank right now because I actually reading. Well, I'm doing an audiobook right now. But those are some of the few. Because I'm going blank right now. You put me on the spot.
no worries. Um, sure. What was one of the biggest takeaway from the negotiation book?
Negotiation book.
Yeah, the one that you recommended, the one from the FBI guy. What's the biggest takeaway?
So I basically used one of his lessons. All I repeated was negotiation book. You see how much more that you spill? That's what you call mirroring. Prime example. I got you to tell me more, just repeating what you just asked. I'm gonna tell you a wicked book. Wicked book. Wicked. If anybody that wants to do business, how to talk to people, how to express themselves, and like basically what I just do, I use a mirror, but I use active listening. Active listening is basically whatever I just say, you find one or two words of it and repeat it. But you're finding in between what they're saying to get more out of them.
So you're looking for the emotions in the word, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope.
Never split the difference. That's the name of the book by
Okay.
Chris Voss.
Yeah.
Never
Okay. I
split the
heard that one.
difference.
Now, yeah, I
Never
remember
split
that
the
one.
difference.
Yeah, that's
Wicked book.
um. So how did you? So what's next for you?
Believe it or not, I have some things cooking right now. I just came back from New York on a business meeting. I'm actually joining a team of high-level coaches where I'm going to be working with some of the top talent in the MLB, well, one of the best talent. Um, I really don't want to disclose right now, but I'm gonna let it unfold. Because you know me, I don't really put myself out there like that, but I let my walk do the talking. I ain't really type say and I let my walk do the talking.
Yeah, yeah,
But I expanded.
that's good. That's growth, man. So, any final thoughts you think you can share to inspire someone that's listening to this episode?
Absolutely. I think one of the I would say words of advice from me is get out of your environment. That's the biggest thing. Get out of your environment. Even though you may go somewhere that you may fail, you just learned about something about yourself. You just learned something about yourself that you would never learn in the environment that you were in. Because all the people that's in your environment won't take that risk. So naturally, when you fail and you come back, you're naturally ahead than other people that you're around. So you're naturally going to elevate above the people in your environment.
Change your perspective. Yeah, that's why
Absolutely.
I say get out and travel more because, like, once you travel outside where you are, you expand your mindset. You see how other people live. You see the taste of different cultures, the lifestyle, everything. You're able to see the world from a different lens versus your tunnel vision.
And I think that's why I told you in the start of the podcast, as it's like, I think that is my secret weapon that I could adapt. Because you know the amount of Latin people that be like, yo, how you understand what we saying? I grew up with Latin people all our life.
Shoot,
So
your
then
whole
they'll be,
team was your whole team.
all
Shoot,
of us,
yeah,
you, me, we grew up around the culture. Like, so they'll be like, oh, well, you know about rice and beans.
bro. Juka. Leonardo used to bring Juka to the field.
You know, so it's like, I understand the Caribbean culture.
Yeah.
So even though you speak Spanish, I understand what you're saying. I could understand the American culture because when I moved from back home, I came to America, I had to adapt to the culture. It's a different culture. But me growing up in baseball, where you have Puerto Rican, Dominican people from St. Martin, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Dominica, Curacao. We grew up. We may not have lived with them, but they're in our environment because we play Curacao every year.
Yep. Latin American tournament.
We play against Aruba every year. So I'm going to see the same people every year. So, oh, how you know about this? Like, I grew up with people like that. Yeah, so, you know, it's all about adapting, man. You just got to adapt. Be open to learn.
It's crazy because my sister used to be like, "What you going on a plane so much for? We never get to go on a plane so much." I was going to all these Puerto Rico, going to Latin American tour, Aruba, all these places playing baseball, and so it opened up your mind, and they were just like, how the hell are you doing all of this stuff? And we can get to do.
Yeah,
So it was just a different experience for me. I was able to meet a whole bunch of different people and play against some good people too.
yeah, 1000%.
So this is one of my last questions. How does it feel like looking back now? Because your dad, I coach with your dad as well too. How do you feel like kind of walking in the similar footsteps as him?
I wouldn't be who I am now to one for my father. And it because I was actually speaking to one of my players on my university on my university I working at. I was like, I literally learned everything about baseball subconsciously. Meaning like, yeah, my father like coach, but my father didn't like, oh, this is this is that. You just see it. Like you come from, because you know back home the little field, you walk up to the big field.
Yeah.
You see the older guys crow hopping. So imagine you from 6 years old all the way till you 12. Even though you don't physically do it, you see it every single day. Naturally, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like how to hit a fungo, how to throw BP, how to fix a swing, defense, stuff like that. I just subconsciously, bro.
Yeah.
And me being a young kid, being the bad boy, I got to go chase. I got to go chase the foul ball. You know, you learn all those things at a very young age. So you understand the rules subconsciously. So me
Right.
coming to America, I realized Yankee guys can't do that. They only good at one thing. Like he could hit fungo, but he can't throw BP. He could throw BP, but he can't hit fungo. He can't hit fungo, but he could teach hitting. But us back home, we grew up with all of that.
Right.
So it's like I learned everything from my dad, and yeah, I learned everything from my dad for the most part, and I learned from people along the way, like Hall of Famers, guys who's been in the league, and you just add it to your arsenal.
Right. Yeah. So my daughter decided to join the conversation now.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, Akeem, I just want to thank you for taking the time out, coming on the show, sharing your expertise, and just being open and honest. I appreciate that. So,
Absolutely, man.
what's something that you wanted to say but didn't get an opportunity to?
Oh, man. Um, I would probably say. That's a good question. I would say anybody that come from any small island that wish to have an opportunity to do what they want, you have one, yes, you have to believe in yourself, but at the same time, you have to go into the environment where you're gonna get the best opportunity. Cause think about it, how much people we know that was like nasty in baseball, but they never get to leave the island, bro. And by the time it was them to like get serious or like it was already too late, you know? It was too late.
Yeah, because I walk on in Tuskegee, and I didn't even know I was. I know how to play. I walk
Hmm.
on and I was like, I don't know if I gonna make it because D2, I ain't know nothing about D2, all that stuff. So when I walk on, I was just like, I don't know. But next day, I walk on and I get to play. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of
Look at look
right now.
look at it this way, right? Look at it this way, and this is a perfect analogy. We can go to a store, buy a lottery ticket. We hit the numbers, but if you don't turn in a ticket in a certain amount of time, guess what you do? Expire.
Yeah,
So now it's the same analogy. You playing, yeah, you can have all the talent, but if you ain't in the right environment for somebody to see you,
yeah.
they gone with somebody else.
hmm Like right now, actually, I just see that BB Son uh
Hmm.
crushing it in college right now. He went 3 for 4 against some school in I think Alabama or something.
Hmm.
With Taj Bates.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
I know
follow
him.
my minority baseball prospects.
I know the people who made it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know Coach Hollins and everybody?
I know all them guys from Atlanta.
Believe it or not, Coach Hollins was my college coach.
Wow,
Yeah,
small wall.
small world, man.
I know CJ Calhoun. I know all those guys because they started out in damn, what's that high school? Redan. They
Right.
started out in Redan in Atlanta, and then they came together, and
Yeah.
then that's when they made that. I know all those guys. I tapped in, bro. I tapped in.
Yeah, shoot. When because Coach Hollins was 1 year when I first got there. That was his graduating year, so he was an
Mm,
assistant coach for a year before he became the not more than a year, but he was the one that taught me more about hitting. And dude, I crushed my junior year. I was like at 330, 320 batting average.
hmm.
So yeah,
I see, this is the thing that's why I say you have to leave where you're at to learn new things. Believe it or not, bro, 330 don't mean shit. You could hit 400. That don't mean shit. Cause perfect example, Kyle Schwarber. Do you see Kyle Schwarber batting average last year?
yeah, I see that. Yep.
Well, guess what? He had 40 bombs though.
Yeah.
Those are the things. The guys that hit 400 and that don't matter anymore, bro.
Can you produce?
It's all about doubles. And just 2 years ago, nobody cared about the stolen bases until Acuna win MVP. Now people want stolen bases. But before that, it was a long triangle. Home runs. One stolen bases, it won't singles. It's a different game. And
Yeah.
it's sad to say, like, there's going to be guys in college that are going to hit 300 with like 4 or 5 home run. They ain't going to get drafted.
Yeah.
But the mindset of where we come from is like, oh, why he get drafted at 300?
Yeah.
Like, there's, I just saw a guy that got drafted. Oh, I'm not going to say the school and the person's name. Yeah, trying 97, 98. He went to a spring training game and his ERA was like 12. And they were just hitting so much home runs out for him. It's so different. It's a different time, bro. It's a different time. Don't worry, I got little ones behind me, as you can see too. And we adults, bro.
All right, man. So just want to say thanks again. I appreciate it. Uh, thank you again for joining the podcast. And guys, how can people connect with you?
Oh, you could hit me on Lead Up Athletics on Instagram. If you know me, you know me. Ask a friend. But you can find me on IG.
All right. Hey, Akeem, thanks. Thanks again for coming on. Guys, thank you all for tuning in on another episode of Be Inspired TV, where we're inspiring you to live the abundant life you deserve. And every week we're bringing on guests or sharing stories of how you could become successful and stop spinning the wheels. All right. Till next time, peace out.
Peace.